Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Jeb Plays Kerbal Space Program with Mission Controller and NT Space Program. So in the last episode we completed Mission Alpha, managed to get up to 75 kilometers and bring it back down again safely, which more challenging than it perhaps should have been. So Mission Beta, we will get rewarded with, 20 plus 20, so 40k. So we need to spend less than 40,000 in order to be profitable here, and we need to get up to 80 kilometers and land back at the Kerbal Space Center. So let's select that and straight into the vehicle assembly building. So first things first, let's grab a small probe body, an NCS adapter, so as that we can attach some appropriate engines to it. And where are we? Parachute. Minus 16 parachute. There we go. I'm not going to, as I did last time, add 2 parachutes because it turns out that was a complete waste of time. Sorry, multiple parachutes. I had like 4 around it or something. So what else are we going to need? Some batteries are going to be useful. These battery packs are seem to hold a lot more charge than these ones, although it is heavier. In fact, no, weight's not really an issue given that we're talking about 0.05, whereas even an engine is 0.5. So, this is a tenth of the weight of the engine, so nothing really to worry about there. So I'm going to try and do this as a 2-stage rocket here. So our second stage is going to be using, in fact, you know what I need to do first? Let's pop an ASAS module on there, and let's also add some RCS fuel, so that we'll use while we're in orbit. So let's add a small fuel tank and a little babby engine to help us maneuver. So something like that will probably do the trick, and that should go through stuff relatively lightly. So let's pop a, what am I looking for? Structural. A decoupler on that. So that's our top stage. This is the bit that's going to be floating around in space in orbit and doing our science stuff. So let's add the 4 science pieces that we need, which are 1, 2, 3, and a thermometer which is clipping through, so just have it a little bit above so I can see it. We're also going to need some thruster blocks. So let's just pop them here-ish will do. So this piece will be absolutely fine for us in orbit, I hope. Right, so next part I'm going to have a big fuel tank and a slightly bigger engine. So let's go with a non-vectoring engine, just so we get a bit more power out of it. Now the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm not sure if this is going to work properly, but I think it's worth a try, which is try to use jet engines to actually get us up towards orbit. They're a lot more efficient on fuel. So if I get some small engines, some little babby engines, what's the smallest we've got? No, those are teeny tiny. Those are... what are these? That's massive. No, these are far too large. Right, so let's go with one of these fuel tanks. That's a Rockomac, so yep. So we're going to have 4 of these smaller fuel tanks with some basic jet engines, and we're over budget. Arg. Arg, arg, arg. It's that big engine that's doing the... I mean, I could add another jet engine on there, which is cheap, but I get the distinct impression this isn't going to be anywhere near enough, because we're going to need to have some sort of power throughput at... no, we're not going to have enough output at the higher... How much are these? Pretty expensive, but maybe if we only have 2 of them we might be able to get away with it. 54, 50. Still over budget here. This is frustrating. Okay, so let's scrap this idea. Maybe, how about do we reckon we can get away with just 3? We might be able to get away with just 3. So let's pop that there. Get some fuel tanks on here. Get some jet engines on the outside 3. Get a non-factory engine in the middle, and we are just over budget. God damn. And that's definitely over budget. Is there anything cheaper that I can use here? Problem is there's nothing cheaper that's going to give us enough thrust at this point. And a jet engine is not going to help us here, because the problem is we need a lot of air. Flame out threshold of 0.1. I'm really keen on using jet engines for this because they are just so fuel efficient, but they don't have a lot of throughput. So I wonder if there's an adapter which will allow us to do this with less engines. So let's see, have we got a 3 bicoupler? Bicoupler? Is there a tricoupler? There is a tricoupler. So if we can do this, we might get away with 3 jet engines on the bottom. Attached to a single small fuel tank. A non-vectoring engine. I have no idea if we're going to be over budget on this. We may be horrifically so. Stacked decoupler. And we're in budget. Right. So this will use the fuel from here to get us off the ground. We'll then use the fuel from this one to manoeuvre ourselves out. So let's drop that down into a smaller one. Because I'm hopeful we're not going to need all that fuel. So we're just over 40k, so we should make some sort of profit on this. Bring this down to here with that actually, bring that up to there, perfect, so we've got 3 there. That'll decouple off, that'll decouple off. So we have a 3-stage rocket. I have no idea if this is going to work or not. But let's give it a go. This is the Jeb Mark II Orbiter. Orbitor? Yeah, that'll do. Right, I might also, in fact, add 3 wings onto this because they are cheap as chips and will hopefully help us a little bit on the way up. Where are they connected to? I might try to connect them a little higher up actually. Oh, hello. Struggling to connect to anything. No, that looks ridiculous. Let's put them down here and they'll pop off on the bottom one, and hopefully the ICS will be enough nearer the top. Right, so let's save that off and give this a go. So this will take a little moment to get off the launch pad, but once it does, hopefully... Right, I know what we've done here. We have forgotten to put in any air intakes. So let's end that flight. Pop back out to the Space Center. I really shouldn't be doing this, but I'm going to rewind this. There we go. Reopen that package. Mission beta. And let's reuse that but add some air intakes onto it. So aerodynamic air intakes. So we need to do it onto this side. We need side mounted air intakes, I guess. 3 of them seem to make sense. Might put some more up here as well. They are reasonably cheap after all. They seem to be in line enough. This might give us some air into these, so let's give that a go. So let's just pretend that that last attempted launch didn't happen. Pop the throttle up. Let's give this a go. Here we go. Yes, we have launch. We have takeoff. So, going up in a straight line, we do have air intake, which is great. Starting to overheat the engines a little bit. I start to bring them down a bit. Perfect. And we're still going up, which is great. So what I'm hoping for is that we can use this for quite a long way up. The intake air is reducing quite substantially already, which is always a good sign. Yik. Yeah. Well, this will start to fail at around 0.3, 0.4 I guess. These need 10, 0.1 each to run. Unfortunately I have no idea how you find out. Nope, no, we'll find out soon enough. Right. So now we're hitting 10k, near enough. We'll start to lean this over. Obviously using the fins only at the moment, so this is a bit of a pig to control. We'll lock it in place there. We'll try and boost this as much as we can at this point. Get as much use out of this as possible. Air intake's alright, actually. We still seem to be going up, which is a good sign. There we go. Now that we've lost that, I'm immediately getting rid of it so that we don't end up passing this on as well. Let's slow that down a little bit, pop that in place, and let's have a look at the map and see where we're going. 35k, 36k. So, we're out of atmosphere. I'm hoping that we can burn this up to our 80k that we need for our orbit, so 60, 70, that's burnt out. Space. There we go. And we're still rising, thank God for that. Right, 80k. So, at apoapse, add a manoeuvre to circularise our orbit. Pull this way, come on. Here we go. I really hope I've got enough delta V to do this. Right, that's 95 by 63. That is bloody awful. Okay, well, that's not work then. How do I get rid of that? There we go. Right. So at apoapse, add a manoeuvre that does that. Seems to be spinning around a bit quicker. 78 by presumably 81. Right, lovely. And this is a burn which needs to be started immediately. So let's get into place. Whoops, switch off SAS. Pop ourselves on the node and begin the burn. So this is a very, very slow burn, but hopefully this is going to be enough to get us into an orbit. So we can see our apoapse and periapse are here. Our maximum apoapse is going up, but not fast enough to breach 85k, which is good. Not at the moment anyway. And our periapse is still, well, pretty much at the middle of curving. So just zooming out so that we get a little bit less noise. About halfway through our burn now. Still more than enough fuel, which is good. Our maximum apoapse is going down now, which is always good. Just adjust my movement very slightly. There we go, lock it in there. So once I see these both green, we'll be good. We do have all the parts, good. Still have half a tank of fuel. Great. Right, here we go. Getting there. Getting there, getting there, getting there. We are no longer about to crash into the ground. I'm slowing down. Right, okay. So our periaps is too low, our apoaps is too high. Beautiful. Right. So let's adjust this. So we need to increase our periaps. So let's point towards, point towards prograde for the moment. This will also increase our apoaps, but just need it to be high enough. Right. That was ridiculous, and I've done too much. Ha. Right, so let's time accelerate a bit, because we want to get beyond periaps, so as that we can then increase our periaps. So the most efficient place to do that is at apoaps. So let's get to apoaps, or nearest, damn it. So we're at apoaps, we are facing retrograde, perfect. So lock onto retrograde. No, I want prograde. I want to be going faster at this point, I want retrograde in a minute. So my brain was going into what I'm going to be doing next. Monoprop is going down, given that I'm speeding past my markers. Right, there we go. Lock onto prograde. There we go, 80k, perfect. So now if I spin this round to periaps, I can then reduce apoaps. So coming around. Right. Lock on there. We're 12 seconds away from periaps. Let's bring this back down so you see this is reducing now. Let's try and do this quickly. 20, 25, 24, 20. Now at this point I'm actually going to speed along to the new periaps, just to try and keep this as even as possible. There we go. Pop this back onto our retrograde marker. There we go. And burn that down until we are at 80 by 80. Perfect. So we are 4 seconds into this, so let's time warp. We can only time warp to 50 times speed, which is great. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slow down. There we go. We have reached it. So we have finished that goal. So now all we need to do, he says, is to land back on Kerbal. So let's switch off SAS. Where are we at the moment? We've still got a little while to go. So what I'm going to do is lock ourselves on here and have a look at the map, find out where we are, where we need to get to. So I think we're aiming for just there. So what I'm going to do is start firing retrograde and see if we can get this to breach just there. Is that even the right place? I'm not sure that is. There? Or is it this? Or is it here? Whoops. Let's see if I can do this without destroying my... I think that's where we need to be. Right, so I need to turn prograde. Waste a little bit of fuel here. Right, that might be good enough. That totally won't be good enough, he realises, as we're aiming for that one instead. Where are we now? Periaps is just above. So let's speed up and see whether we... Right, now because we are in the atmosphere, I assume. Are we in the atmosphere? Yeah, periaps is decreasing. We can't use any useful time warp, so this is a very, very slow landing here. But we'll start to see some atmospheric effects at some point. We are spinning round though, interestingly. So there must be a little bit more stuff to resist on one side than the other, I'm assuming. Or it's just finding it easier to push against that end than it is the other. A little bit low on fuel, but this is nicely pointing us towards retrograde, which is always good. Whoa, hello. I forgot we have acceleration on here. So how are we doing? We are needing a bit more boost here. Let's turn down our... There we go. Right, so point towards here. Point up a bit. Let's try pointing up, but oh dear. It really does not want to point that way. I think we might have to give up on the Kerbal goal. Or we're going to have to... Yep, we are coming down, and we are coming down quick. Okay, we're going to lose the optional goal, I think, here. We are far too far away, and I can't turn this thing around because we are too fast, and I don't think we've got enough liquid fuel to slow us down in any reasonable time frame. I'll give it a try. Let's give this a go. I just don't want to waste it all because I want to also use some to help us get down. Is that enough to turn us around or not? Eek. Switch off SAS. Come on. Nowhere near. Nowhere near. Let's time warp. Get ourselves a bit closer. See if we can turn now. No, we can't. Okay. So let's lock on to... slow ourselves down a bit. Parachute has been popped. We are coming down. Surface speed is slowing. Switch off RCS and SAS so we come down nicely. Not coming down onto the flattest of surfaces, but by not coming down onto the flattest surfaces, I mean I think I'm on the side of a mountain. Right, so I'm gonna try and slow us down a little bit before this chute opens, so I don't have the same problem that I had last time. And we are in one piece. We are in one piece, we have run out of fuel, and we are going to hit the ground nicely. He hopes. Come on. Slow it down before I hit the ground. I was hoping 10 meters a second is slow enough to not destroy everything. No, we lost the engine, which is a little bit pricey. So All the goals have been completed, finished the mission, 41k, and we can recycle 45k. That's better than I would have expected to do, to be honest. Yeah, 45k, that's alright, that's alright. Alright, so that's it for today. Next time we'll be doing Mission Charlie, which is the last of the 3 introductory missions, I think. So, yeah, trying to get up to 75k with a single part and landing again, which seems pretty easy to me. So, anyway, we'll see how that goes. So, see you next time. Bye for now.